Be honest with me now. Do you believe in yourself, dear viewer? In your mental power? Then why is it so hard for so many of you to simply say no to your boss, How many more YouTube videos will you sit through until you finally found the one that solves all your problems? I'm here to tell you the cold, hard truth. The truth about real strength. Not the kind found in a clenched jaw or in fearless, unshakable calm, but in truth. You can't fake this kind of strength, my friends. You have to build it, brick by brick. The truths I'm about to share with you cannot be mastered overnight or without great exertion. Yes, you will be sore. But if you truly want to be mentally strong, if you're truly ready to stop collapsing every time life gets heavy, let's begin. Rule 1. Know your shadow, or be ruled by it. I spent my entire life studying the psyche, and the truth I came to again and again is this. What you ignore within you controls you. If you deny your aggression, your need for attention, your jealousy, it does not vanish. It burrows deeper. It hijacks your tone, ridicules yourself constantly, and snaps at those you love. And still you whisper, "I'm in control." But those who refuse to confront their shadow are forever at the mercy of it. To master your mind, you must face what it contains. All of it. Rule 2. Set boundaries without guilt. You are not unkind for saying no. You are not selfish for choosing yourself. I have seen too many fall apart because they believed to love meant to be forever available. But love without limits is not healthy. Boundaries are not rejection. They are clarity. Recent studies have shown that strong boundaries protect mental health. When you honor your limits, you teach your nervous system that you are safe, seen, and allowed to exist fully. Rule 3. Stop managing other people's emotions. You cannot control how others feel, and trying to do so will only fracture your soul. I have seen the most empathetic among us lose themselves, confusing caretaking with compassion. But fear often wears the mask of kindness. If you are soft only to be safe or agreeable to be loved, you are not being compassionate. You are being controlled by the terror of disconnection. Let people feel what they feel, and do not disassociate from your own reality to manage theirs. Rule 4. Say no without apology or explanation. When I began speaking of individuation, many misunderstood it as selfishness. It is not. It is a responsibility. If you constantly explain yourself, you're still performing. No must be simple. No must be clear. You are not a concept to be defended. You are a presence to be respected. No is how the true self asserts itself, when inner congruence matters more than approval. Rule 5. Drop the nice person act. I have watched countless people trade authenticity for acceptance. They become so skilled at being pleasant that they forget who they even are. But being liked is not the same as being whole. You are not made to be pleasing. You were made to be true. The nice mask hides rage, pain, and desire. Drop it. You'll be surprised what strength is waiting underneath. Rule 6. You are not your persona. In every society, I saw people mold themselves into what would be praised. This is the persona, the mask you create to survive. But it is not you. I created the term because I watched people confuse adaptation with identity. Do not mistake the version of you that earns you a living for the real thing. When the mask becomes heavy, that is your soul asking to be seen. The mask might earn you applause, but it suffocates the real you underneath. It fits the world, but it burns your soul to wear it. Rule 7. Shrink your ego, not your authenticity. True humility is not diminishing your truth. It is owning it, without performance. The ego wants to dominate or disappear, but the self only wants to be seen honestly. I do not trust those who are always lowly. It is often false humility. I trust those who can stand in their truth and neither inflate nor shrink. That is real strength. Rule 8. Your past explains you, but it does not define you. I have sat with patients who believe their childhood pain was destiny, but you are not what happened to you. You are who you choose to become. Yes, your past shaped your instincts, but the future is crafted by your willingness to choose again. The psyche is malleable. Neuroplasticity confirms what I have always suspected. You can outgrow what once shaped your nervous system, but only if you stop calling it your identity. The brain is not stone. It is soil. And with care and great determination, the weeds of trauma can be yanked from the earth so new beliefs may grow freely, no longer choked by memory. Listen to me. You say you want to heal, but no amount of listening, learning, or nodding along will ever be enough. If you still choose to cling to the sad story that you've written for yourself. So listen closely now, with an open mind, or remain unchanged as so many do. Rule 9. Speak early, speak honestly, and trust your voice. Silence, when rooted in fear, becomes corrosion. You are not safer for swallowing your truth. You are only more distant from yourself. In my work, I witnessed the devastation of unspoken truths. Marriages rotted, lifelong friendships crumbled, entire personalities fractured under the weight of silence. Speak, even if your voice shakes, especially then. That is where your healing begins. Rule 10. Use your voice. No one is coming to save you. Many wait for permission to live fully. They wait for a sign or a soft place to land. But the truth is this. Salvation begins when you finally take responsibility for your own soul. Modern psychology now agrees agency is fundamental to adult mental health. So stop waiting. No one is coming to save the version of you that you have hidden. That is your job now, to find them, to speak for them, to become the hero you once prayed would appear. Speak like your life depends on it, because it does. Rule 11. Anger is information, not shame. I never feared my patients' anger. I feared when they felt nothing at all. Anger is not evil. It is a message. It tells you that something important has been crossed or damaged. Do not bury it. Do not let it erupt uncontrollably. Listen to it. Let it speak. It knows where the hurt is. It knows what needs to change. Numbness is not peace. It is self-erasure. But anger points to your boundary, to the line you never allowed yourself to draw. It's not your identity. It's your alarm. Rule 12. Express anger at the smallest volume necessary. You need not scream to be heard, nor stay silent to be safe. Power does not lie in force. It lies in precision. Speak what you feel before your resentment poisons you. This is not suppression. This is a skill. Emotional mastery is not about lowering the volume. It's knowing when, and how to turn the dial. Dear viewer, are you still with me? Good, because the next part is where most people would stop listening. To understand these truths, you must let go of how the world sees you, and finally begin to see yourself. Do not deprive yourself of this work, for it may be the most rewarding of all, if you are ready. Let's go even deeper now. Rule 13, my favorite number. Presence is power. When you walk into a room and remain fully yourself, you change the atmosphere, not by dominance, but by authenticity. I have long believed that the soul, when undivided, creates a powerful aura around it. Presence is when you stop trying to impress and start trying to inhabit. That is power. The kind that needs no words, just a spine aligned with your truth, just a quiet refusal to be silenced by fear. Rule 14. Stillness is power. Stillness is what happens when the psyche no longer scrambles for belonging. It is a discipline, not a personality trait. It comes from emotional regulation and internal structure. Studies show that stillness, developed through mindfulness, enhances clarity, lowers reactivity, and supports decision-making. I felt this long before science confirmed it. I saw it in every patient who stopped performing and started listening to themselves. Rule 15. Triggers are teachers. Each time you feel that sharp inner jolt, that is your soul highlighting a place where healing is still required. Triggers are not flaws. They are beacons. They reveal where the wound is still fresh. Follow them. Sit with them. Trace them back. Name the scene, the scent, the memory. Not to relive it, but to define it more clearly. Take hold of that memory before it keeps its hold on you. Rule 16. Familiar pain is still pain. Do not confuse what you are used to with what you deserve. Many return to the same harm simply because it feels familiar. I once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." The pattern will keep playing until you choose to press stop. Not because it wants to hurt you, but because it doesn't know anything else. Rule 17. Heal the inner child. Do not shame him. When I explored the inner world of my patients, I kept meeting the same person, the child version of themselves, frozen in time. He was never weak. He was absorbing. He was interpreting a world too big, too loud, too dangerous. You do not fix him by yelling. You heal him by listening. He holds the blueprint to your current emotional map. If you ignore him, you keep following a map you never meant to draw. But if you sit beside him, he'll show you where the hurt began. Rule 18. Your trauma is not your identity. I've watched people build entire personalities around their pain. But trauma is not character, it is experience. Neuroscience now supports this truth. Trauma changes the brain, yes, but it also responds to conscious healing. You are not your damage. You are the awareness that survived it. You are the witness, the one who endured, and now, the one with the choice. But please, dear viewer, please listen to me. I know it hurts, but you cannot build your future inside the walls of your past. Why continue living in a way that doesn't serve you? Why continue living in a way that hurts you? You are allowed to let go. You are not a tree rooted in one location for all eternity. You can move. You can change. So please, don't stay there. There's more life waiting if you only have the courage to choose something new. Rule 19. Look directly into the mirror. Self-awareness is not enough. I saw many who knew their patterns, could name their issues, but still lived in cycles. You can study your reflection for years and still refuse to meet your own eyes. Awareness without acceptance is just another form of self-betrayal. You must look and say, "This is me." Only then can you decide who to become. Rule 20. You are not a monster for what you feel. You are human. The psyche is not meant to be tidy. It is immense, layered, and filled with contradictions. You will feel love and fury within minutes, and that does not mean something is wrong with you. That is not failure. That is the reality of being whole. Stop cleaning up your soul to make it easier for others. You were not made to be safe. You were made to be complete. Rule 21. The thoughts you fear are already shaping you. The thoughts you try to disown do not stay idle. They become projections. They become compulsions. I knew this before modern neuroscience confirmed it. Suppressed thoughts still echo within the mind. They influence how you see others, how you judge yourself, how you love. Bring them into the light, because they won't vanish in the dark. They will shape your tone, your triggers, your silence. Naming them doesn't feed them. It frees you. The unspoken owns you in silence. The named becomes visible and therefore manageable. You do not have to act on every thought, but you must admit that it exists. Rule 22. If they only loved your silence, they never loved you. If speaking your truth destroys the relationship, then what you had was not love, it was control. Love does not require your silence to survive. You were not born to be squeezed into something manageable. You were meant to be seen in your fullness. Do not grieve the departure of those who only stayed as long as you kept shrinking yourself. That was never real love. If they only valued you quiet, they never saw you whole. And you will not trade your voice for a seat at someone else's table. Rule 23. Closure is a myth. I have never seen a person heal because they received the perfect explanation. Waiting for closure is waiting for someone else to set you free. Don't wait for their understanding to give yourself permission to heal. Walk away when you know it's time, not when they admit they were wrong. Rule 24. Grief is not weakness. It is the birthplace of clarity. You cannot claim your future until you grieve the self that you abandoned. Grief is not only for death. It is for the parts of you that were dismissed, neglected, denied. Sit with it. Do not rush past the loss, but honor it. Allow the ache to help you identify what truly mattered. That's how clarity finds you. Mourn who you could have been. Real change begins when you honor what was lost without letting it bury what is still possible. Rule 25. Perfect balance is impossible. There is no perfect path in life. Rather, to achieve balance is to walk a tightrope. You cannot linger on one foot or the other. I've seen people burn themselves alive to keep others warm, then collapse in resentment. I've also seen people mask narcissism as healing. True maturity is knowing when to shift your weight without losing your sense of self or your humanity. Rule 26. Burn the scripts. Perfection is a myth, and yet many still chase it as if peace lives at the end of mastery. You weren't born with a script. But somewhere along the way, you wrote one for yourself, a way to feel safe, a plan to do life right. I've seen people twist themselves trying to outthink pain, outrun failure, outperform uncertainty. But the only truth to master is this: you will never be in full control. You will never have it all figured out. There is no perfect script, no flawless path, no final version of you. So breathe. Let the truth of your soul guide you each day, and enjoy each moment. Rule 27. You teach people how to treat you. Every time you ignore your boundary, you teach others to do the same. You don't teach with explanations. You teach with consistency, with silence, with a door that locks when it chooses to. You do not owe endless access. You do not need to be understood to be respected. Let your actions deliver the message. This version of me is no longer available. That isn't cruelty, it's clarity. And clarity is one of the kindest things you can give to them and to the version of you who finally stayed loyal to yourself. Mental power is not about control or appearing untouched by emotion. It's about presence, the ability to hold both strength and softness without collapsing into either. It means choosing honesty over approval and depth over performance. As I have said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. They're not just gentle reminders, they're psychological weights. And every time you lift one, you shed a little more of the artificial exterior, the fat that's built up around your true form. They do not fix you. They return you to the wholeness, the quiet authority, and the deep presence that were always yours from the very beginning.